What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of Soul Rankings, for the year at least. He is Connor, I am Lawrence. You may notice that we're looking a little bit spiffier today, and that's because along with the top 5 sneaker releases of December that we're going to break down, we're also going to give you our top 10 list of releases of the year. Connor, are you excited? Let's get pumped right now.
I really am. The double stack episode was the one that I was looking forward to all year. I'm ready to hype up some shoes. I'm ready to celebrate some cool stuff. Let's get right into it. At number 5 for our December list, we have the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low in the Phantom colorway. Now, Travis Scott has had 2 Jordan 1 Lows that came out this year, and out of the 2, this was the one that, we were all kind of looking at like, this doesn't quite have the same excitement that we've seen out of previous pairs. Well, it isn't the most exciting shoe. It is still one that drummed up quite a bit of excitement from our community and from the rest of the sneaker community as a whole, and that Travis Scott name is still as magnetic as it was from when we first started seeing him drop colorways, so that's the reason why we have it at our number 5. It almost couldn't be ignored.
All right, coming in at number 4, felt like it kind of came out of nowhere and kind of really glad that it got squeaked in at the very end of the year. It is the 990 V2 collaboration from SoleSavy Bembury. It is the Sand Be the Time colorway. And these are insanely clean. Honestly, kind of a sleeper coming in at number 4. It was just a half decent month at the top of the list. But yeah, the nappy suede on these is absolutely beautiful. We saw a really, really clean release on SoleSavy's website, which we can't say every single time. We've been able to say more recently, though, which is great. And honestly, one of the better New Balances of the year, in my opinion.
At number 3, we have our traditional Jordan 11 holiday release with the Cherry Jordan 11s. Now, this one definitely felt a little bit weirder. It felt like the Lost and Founds dropping the last month kind of took away a little bit of the thunder of this release, but you cannot deny the fact that there is still magnetism towards the Jordan 11 silhouette, especially at this time of year. That tradition of making sure that it's a bit more stock than a lot of the Jordan releases that we've seen throughout the year, but still, actually, as far as colorways go, nice and clean. Not exactly as iconic as we might have seen with something like the Concords, the Breads, or even the Space Jams, but still a clean colorway. It's really hard to go wrong with a Jordan that's white and red.
All right, coming in at number 2. Everyone knows what was 2022 the year of. It is the Jordan 2. So to cap off the year, it only makes sense that they're bringing it back to the absolute OG, the first, the quote-unquote possibly best, the Chicago Air Jordan 2, releasing on the last day of the month, just squeezing it in before 2023. It's the Chicago Jordan 2, and yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It's a fantastic sneaker. The quality and the shape of this retro is the best that we've ever seen, according to the Jordan 2 elitists. So really happy that the Jordan 2 heads are kind of getting like their crowning moment of the year. Really nice to ring in the new year with a really good retro, and yeah, just a great shoe overall.
At number 1, it's the end of a nearly 15-year journey, but at number 1, we have the Concepts X Nike SB Orange Lobster Dunk Low. These have had quite the lineage as far as Nike SB have went, and we've finally reached what could be the final colorway of these, and it helps that it is actually somewhat lobster colored as well. Really, really cool rollout as far as having a whole bunch of these accessories loaded out with it, with over 100 apparel items available, but even cooler that they introduced this special box that came with 2 bear bricks and a couple of extras in there, which is kind of the theme with Concepts this year, is they seem to be going above and beyond as far as their packaging goes. I do have some grievances with the way that these dropped, as it was definitely one of the messier drops that we've seen throughout the year, and it was a little bit frustrating to have to pay a little bit more as far as the retail cost on these shoes for that special package, but I cannot deny the lineage. I cannot deny the fact that this has a very, very, very secured spot in Nike SB's history, and again, after nearly 15 years, it's really, really nice to be able to see this pack come to a near conclusion, at least as far as we know right now. But with all of those December picks out of the way, we get into the juicy stuff. So, as a part of our double stacked episode, and as the last month of this year, we're finally going back through all of our other picks, and we have updated our running leaderboard.
There was definitely a little bit of contention. As with any year-end list, there's going to be disagreements, and this is me and Connor's best bet at putting them together as a group, which is even harder than even putting it together by yourself.
I'll start us off introducing number 10, and this one was actually one of the more contentious spots on the list, and actually I still feel like Lawrence doesn't fully agree with this spot here. I actually want to start out with the runner-up that we potentially had for this slot, and it was the Turtle Dove Yeezy 350 V1s. I did want to have a quick word about them just because of the fact that that could be the last main big hyped Yeezy release that we ever see as far as Adidas and Yeezy goes, but at our actual number 10 slot is the Jound Asics in the white black colorway. The Gel Light fanboys have been kind of in the shadows for a little bit. They've been enjoying their GR shoes for a while, but Jound has finally brought it somewhat to the mainstream. I really put a lot of weight on it because it got people to look at ASICs, to recognize the rich history behind the Gel Light lineup, and also make people realize that, like, hey, they've got a spot, not only in that John rotation, but in everybody's rotation as a good, functional, comfy shoe.
Yeah, Connor, I'm still not really sold on the shoe. I'm not gonna lie to you here. Again, I cannot deny that it moved the needle this year. It got people talking about an ASICS model that people were not and are now again not talking about after the release. So kudos to them, in my opinion. So kudos to them. It's not a shoe for me, but not every shoe needs to be. And coming in at number 10, I was fine with letting it like jam its way onto the list somewhere. Coming in at number 9, I think on my personal list, at least, it comes in the top 5 in the grand scheme of things. I'm glad it made it to the top 10, and it's the Air Max 1 Concepts collaboration in the Far Out colorway. This was the Air Max Day release for this year, and in recent years, the Air Max Day release has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. Nike doesn't put as much oomph into it as they used to when they were dropping the Atmos Air Max 1s and the Masters Air Max 1s and that kind of thing. So to see them really pull out all the stops for this release, and Concepts does that on the regular anyways, so it's a match made in heaven, really. I was really, really pleased with the shoe. I think that it's going to age incredibly well as not just an Air Max Day shoe, but like just as an Air Max in the long historical lineage of the Air Max 1 line in general. And I think it's going to go down as one of the better ones on that list. And yeah, just an incredible shoe. The detail, the packaging, as we mentioned with Concepts, is always on point. So for it to come in at number 9, I think that's a steal.
At number 8, we actually just talked about this one, but it was the Concepts Orange Lobster Dunk Low. Like I said, this kind of felt like the conclusion of a nearly 14 years and nearly 15-year-long journey as far as chasing after lobsters. Hard to go wrong with a very, very longly anticipated dunk collaboration, especially considering Nike SB Dunk Lows are still fire to this day.
All right, coming in at number 7, again, one of my favorite shoes to release this year. Easily, as Connor said, the Jound was his most worn shoe of the year. These were my most worn shoe of the year. I absolutely cooked my pair, and it's the Georgetown Air Jordan 1 High in the 85 cut. Can't believe that was this year, like early on in the year, and it's hard to stay at the top of the mountain. They usually keep the end of the year stacked with really good shoes, so that you're kind of going out on a recency bias. But these kind of stood the test of time for me. Like, just such a good shoe, like OG cut, really good quality. This was my first 85 Jordan, really impressed, and yeah, just incredibly wearable, and they're just gonna last forever.
We're nearly at the top 5 here, but at number 6 is a brand and also a silhouette of shoe that's no stranger to our list, and it is the Alma Maniere Jordan 4. This was, I believe, called the Violet Ore colorway, and kind of adhered to a lot of the color schemes and elements that we've seen with a lot of the other Alma Maniere shoes, but kept the exact same qualities that we loved about them. So great materials as far as the suede and very soft nubuck that they ended up using on the shoe. Lace swap options and overall presentation that you got with the box and accessories was right there with it, and it's really, really hard to go wrong with a Jordan 4. It's even harder to go wrong with a Jordan 4 in a nice earth tone colorway that's super wearable with a lot of things, and so definitely deserves its number 6 slot on our list, but unfortunately ended up bumping off those Alma Maniere Jordan 2s.
All right, our top 5 for the year. This is going to sound really familiar from last month, so we might fly through it a little bit because it's the exact same list from November. But the number 5 pick for our releases of the year, or shoes of the year, sorry, would be the Off-White Air Force 1 in the Brooklyn Museum colorway. Love that green spark all over the Air Force 1 low. It just pops so much. The silver swoosh is great. The shoe is just stunning. I really, really like it. Would love to get a pair. Wink, wink, if anyone has a size 9. And yeah, I think it's got to be on the list, whether it was hard to get or not. And it was obviously hard to get. It just needed to be on the list. It's too good looking for me.
So this is actually probably what I would consider to be the most controversial pick on the list, considering that this has been stuck on here since the beginning of the year. This actually made our number 2 pick in February and has actually stayed in our top 5 throughout the entirety of the year, and that is the Jound 990 V3 Olive. I want to preface this by saying this is kind of the iconic shoe as far as how the 990 V3s had a great year. There's been a couple of collaborations, there's been a whole bunch of 990 V3s from other brands, but I believe this is the one that stuck out the most, and this is the one that we saw the most ubiquity around. Definitely helps that it is a neutral colorway and it is very, very wearable, but also helps that, again, we do have that Jound name and that Jound notoriety and that slight touch that they were able to add to the shoe that really, really helped it stick. It just sits at that right.
We've bigged up the shoe enough. Good shoe is good. A good shoe is good. That's it. Good shoe is good. Coming in at number 3, the better of the two Air Jordan 1 Low in collaboration with Travis Scott that came out this year. It's the reverse mocha colorway. Definitely on the top of the pantheon for me on copability of the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low, in my opinion. And also in terms of how they look, I really, really like the reverse mocha colorway. I just think that they pop. They're really like earth tones are pretty much all I friggin' wear. So really, really big fan of the shoe. And yeah, definitely the one that got away for me this year. And just, yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of contention within people who, when we had this on our list, and we're going to get into a shoe that's even more contentious after this, but yeah, just I like this shoe a lot, and I think it deserves to be there.
All right, at number 2. So actually, within our team, when we brought this up, we had a couple of people who raised counterpoints to this, as they kept mentioning that this might not be as wearable of a shoe versus a lot of the other shoes on the list. And just like the Chow 990 B3s, these have actually been here for quite some time. So these have been around since... Yeah, I would actually say May. Yeah, so actually just before we reach the halfway point of the year. And at number 2 is the Mombasita Sweet 16 Kobe 6 Pro Tro. And the reasons behind this one are not only is it a solid shoe on its own as far as a Kobe and a performance model goes, the Kobe 6 is a loved Pro Tro, and overall the silhouette has a rich history to it, but it's the fact that this shoe is another one that maybe shouldn't have existed. After a full year of a news rotation where we were seeing all sorts of news about what the cancellation of the Kobe line meant, what the Nike Kobe collaboration cancellation meant to everybody, seeing everybody stock up on all these Kobes and everything else, having this specific shoe, especially with this specific story around the fact that this was originally the one that started the controversy that ended the partnership, it was really nice to see them come back with it. It's really nice that this is the first one that they introduced again to get everybody excited about Kobe's again. And the fact that we have that collaboration back in such a huge part of sneaker history being retroed again is a really, really big deal. So that's the reason why I have it as high as it is.
Say what you want about putting retros in your top 10. If the shoe came out before, you can't put it in your list again because it's not technically a 2022 release. Whatever. We don't care. It's our list. And this is, again, it was the year of the Jordan 2. 2022 was undoubtedly the year of the Jordan 2. But more than anything else, put all that aside, it was the year of the lost and found. From February or March, when the news broke, when SoleSavy broke the news of the Chicago Air Jordan 2 returning, for months, 10 months straight, we'll say, we saw leaks and rumors and stories and everything under the sun, day in, day out, and the release finally came around, and they were relatively accessible. One of the better stocked Air Jordan 1s of all time, so sneakerheads were able to get their hands on them. Incredibly well executed. The storytelling is out of this world, and hey, it's going to go down as the release of the year for a long time. It's one of the better renditions or like updates to an original that I think I have ever seen. So coming in at number 1 is a no-brainer. Anyone who has anything else to say can kick rocks. Well, Connor, it has been an incredible 12 months with you. This has been fantastic. This has been a great Christmas episode special that we were able to put together. I don't know what else to say. We will not be back next month giving you the updated running leaderboard because next month is the new year. So to everybody at home, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy everything. We love everybody who tuned in with us for the entirety of the year. If you're just tuning in, make sure you follow and subscribe to SoleSavy for more content like this. And Connor, not much more to say than we are out. Peace.
Yep. Peace.